Hey guys, we are here with Pixie this afternoon. So I want to go over a few things in this video. Mainly what I want to talk about is handling skills when you are working with your dog. So a lot of times what people think when they think of dog training is they send their dog to a trainer. Their dog learns all of this awesome stuff. They come home and they're just like this new and improved dog. Now, if you don't follow through with the training that your trainer has done, especially using the exact same methods that your trainer has used, following through with the, whatever type of either corrections, positive reinforcement, however your trainer has worked with your dog and explained to you how you're going to continue that education at home, I really like to tell people training your dog, 75% of training your dog is training the owner. Because a dog is a dog. They're going to learn these skills, and I'm going to do a lot of repetitions of them with them so that they understand that place means go onto this object. Come means come towards me and sit down. Heel means walk next to me and don't pull me on leash. Wait means sit at the door and wait before you go running out. Those kind of things. But if you don't reinforce those commands and you kind of just expect your dog to just normally just magically do them all this, so perfect example, you just expect your dog to just magically do this perfectly now, and you just get to sit back and be like, I say an English word and my dog does it perfectly. You're going to be sadly mistaken, because I could get Pixie to do all of this without any verbal cues. We add verbal cues in more for us and more for me to be able to give the client something to do. But if you can see right there, I was able to just get her to calm down and sit down on her bed without needing to tell her any of those English words. Dogs don't speak English. They don't speak, our language. They can't communicate with us using that language. They speak better with a pressure and release system. So what we do when we're teaching dogs pressure and release is we do this slip lead where we're able to do a pressure on and a pressure off system. And we're also able to use ourself as a form of pressure called spatial pressure, which is when we move in and back up. So we turn pressure on and turn pressure off. So perfect example. I turned pressure on because she was going to break her place right there. And I'm going to wait until she goes into a calmer state. If she tries to avoid me and go around, I'm going to block her, right? So I'm using my leash to reinforce that she has to stay in the bed. Now, I'm not using a lot of pressure. As you can see, it's simply just enough. So I'm only using a finger's worth of pressure right there. That's it. Just enough to not let her leave the bed. And then I'm going to add myself. And then all the pressure goes away when she stays on the bed. So what I'm reinforcing to her right now is that you don't get to just leave the bed whenever you feel like it. She only gets to come off when I say, okay, okay, Pixie, good girl, right? So I change my tone. I make it a little bit more exciting. I let her know that, she's now able to leave the bed. If she tries to leave the bed any other time besides me saying, okay, it is up to you as a handler to reinforce to your dog that I don't allow this. If sometimes you let her break place and sometimes you want her to stay and other times you get mad at her that she's not staying on place, you're not giving her consistency, so she's not going to give you consistency. It's really about learning. It's really a lot like raising kids. If you do things repetitiously with them and you do them over and over and over, it starts to become a habit with them, right? You tell them to take their shoes off at the door 100 times when they're like 3. By the time they're 5, that's just a natural habit. They come in the door and they take their shoes off, right? Those are the kind of things that you're going to work on with your dog. Things like waiting at the door, it might seem minuscule, but really what you're doing is you're teaching your dog that there's rules in play and that they're reinforced with you on a daily basis. You're also giving them mental stimulation, which is why our dogs are so hyper and we want them to calm down, and we try and rely on taking them for walks or playing with them or exercising them or any of those things. But what you're doing there is you're building an athlete. And your dog is going to eventually need to walk half a mile at the beginning. Then they're going to need to start going 1 mile to get that tired. And then they're going to start needing to go 2 miles to get that same amount of tired, right? Same going on and on and on until they get older and start slowing down. If you're relying on physical activity, Pixie, place. Pixie, place. Good girl. If you're relying on physical activity to wear them out, you're going to have a dog that, Pixie, So right there, she's trying to leave the place, so I'm reinforcing it because I've taught her what pressure means, and she understands that pressure on the leash means go into a calmer state of mind, right? It doesn't necessarily mean sit, but we know that the dog has calmed down when they show me that calmer frame of mind, which is a sit position. It's a more, relaxed pose. So then the pressure immediately goes away. So if she tries to break place right now, I have two ways to add pressure. Right now in the beginning, I have to reinforce place 100% of the time. If she ever breaks right now, I need to teach her, nope, you don't get to come off. So that's my job as a trainer, is to do these repetitions where I do things in the beginning simply like that, just walking around. Now we've only done, this is I think our third official lesson with place, really working on it. So she still wants to break. She understands place means go on the object. That's what we worked on the first day. Didn't really worry about, she went on and I would immediately say, okay. And then day 2, I would keep her on a little bit longer. Now we're up to day 3, place. I'm telling her to place, and I'm starting to walk around it. Now, as soon as I start walking around it, she wants to break. So I'm able to use that leash to reinforce to her, no. Now, eventually, we're going to be able to drop that leash because she's going to know every time I try and break this without her saying those 2 letters as the release, she immediately puts me back on, or she doesn't even allow me to get off. That's the even better option. If you can catch her right there with 1 or 2 paws, you're doing your job great as a trainer and as a handler, because you're teaching her that it's because you're leaving the bed. That's what I don't like. If you allow her to leave the bed and then walk over to the garbage can and start sniffing or pick up a toy, and then you get, oh, no, you broke place, you are way far behind on, pinpointing the moment that you want her to change to her what she's doing. So if you don't want your dog to break place, practice with them. You have to do homework when you come home because you aren't going to be used to doing this yet. This is going to be challenging for you as a handler, learning how to reinforce commands with your dog on an everyday basis. But you have to remember, she's just a year old. Oh, isn't today her birthday actually? It is. Happy birthday, Pixie. So we're going to have a party for you, Pixie. But anyway, so reinforcing those 100% of the time is really teaching her, no, every single time you try and break this place without me releasing you, I'm going to put you right back on until I say, okay, good girl. So then you're going to do multiple ones. You're going to do homework with them so that you start to practice this, and so that she starts to understand that this is what this is what you expect from her on an everyday basis, just like I do. Right? So she has a little bit of a head start on it. You haven't had to practice this behavior yet. So it's going to take some practice on you also. Come here, Pixie. Good girl. Place. Pixie. Now, another thing is when you're using the leash, you don't want to pull her onto the bed, right? What you want to do is you want to, try and get her to move onto it by herself. So right now I'm using some treats. I have some hot dogs, so I use some high value treats when I'm working on a high distraction or learning a new command, something to really keep. So right there, I could tell she was about to leave. So what did I do? I gave her I used my treat to reinforce keeping her on it. So I'm pinpointing the moment. As soon as she tries to leave it, I don't allow right? So I added some spatial pressure there by stepping in front of her, right? So I blocked her from moving, right? Then I can start to back up a little bit. If she goes to break again, I'm going to move back in on her. Okay, good girl. Good job, Pixie. Place? Yes, good girl. Now I'm also going to reward them, place, once they finish the command, not when they go on the command. Now that she understands that place means go on the object, I'm not giving her as many treats for starting the command. I'm gonna give it to her for finishing the command, right? So if she starts to learn all I have to do is walk on the bed and I get a treat, she's gonna try and keep breaking so that she can get back on the bed as many times to get rewarded, right? But she's actually not doing the right thing. So we're gonna wait until she does the entire command, which is remain on the object until released. So once I release her, then I'm going to reward her for staying on the object, because that's the more important part of place, is and stay until release. So reward the stay part. Okay, good girl, excellent, Good girl, Pixie. So what she's learning is that okay comes with good value. She gets a good treat when I tell her okay for doing some kind of a command. Pixie, place? Yes, good job, honey. So she's still getting verbal praise from me, right? Now she's still in the beginning of this part, so I'm not keeping her on there too long. I really want to do repetitions of commands. Okay, good job. Pixie, place? Place? Good girl. Right, so I didn't pull her on. I kind of lured her on using the treat. There, she tried to look, So she goes to look around me. That's when I know she's going to try and break. If she's walking towards the edge of an object or she's looking around, trying to look around me, that's avoidance, right? So I'm going to try and get her to focus again. I'm going to use a treat. Just rewarding the stay. Right, so I have my leash. So right now I'm not releasing her just yet because she keeps trying to break. She's still in the I'm going to break moment. So I'm waiting until she goes into that calmer state of mind. So right now she's just kind of waiting for it. That's a little better. See, there's a loose leash. No pressure. She's not trying to jump off of it. Okay. Good girl. There you go. Excellent. Now, another thing I'm just going to go over real quick. Come here, honey. Good girl. We'll go get you a drink. Is when you're healing, too. So the same thing goes for healing. You have to remember that she's not just going to magically stay in this little box right here. So I just had some of my neighbors were out and they were doing some stuff. And it was kind of loud and she was distracted by it. But I worked on healing and I live in a cul-de-sac, so it's nice that I can go around a circle and practice. But this is exactly what I want her to do. Right now she's getting tired, you can tell, right? We've been working. So right there she tried to pull ahead and immediately she just got that tiny little pop. As soon as she tried to go right there, you see that? And I popped her and I told her, slow down, we're not going to do that, right? Because if you can get her to walk like this, just that tiny little pickup of pace, right there, I can tell her, no, slow that down, right? That way you're not have her at the end of the leash and her pulling, because she can pull. She's definitely got some pull to her for such a little girl. So it's really important for you to put that on, that behavior to rest now, so that she doesn't learn that, like, that's an okay habit to do. So reinforcing these stops every time is more important than the pops. That's what I really wanted to focus on. A lot of times people are really focused on, I just pop a lot and I tell them to slow down. The pop just says pay attention, right? So if they're ahead of you and you're saying pay attention, pay attention to what, right? So you just pay attention to me, what? Just, you have to give them direction. So a lot of times people just want to go, okay, in this straight line. And what's going to happen is they're going to get ahead and you're going to try and pop and say, pay attention. Pay attention to what? Just, right? But pay attention to this. Look, I turned, right? So I give a pop and a turn. Pixie. Good girl. Use her name. Good. Pixie. Good girl. Come on, honey. Pixie. So see, I'm making her focus on me. I'm not allowing her Folky. Oh my goodness, Pixie. I'm all over the place now. Focus on me, right? So if I use her name, Pixie, good girl, right? So I'm getting her to focus on me. That is the goal behind healing, is follow me at my pace, focus on me, right? Pixie, yes, good girl. Right, so she's all over the place now. So let's clean it up first by getting her into a calmer state of mind and putting her in the sit position, right? That's step one. Get her calmed down, get her into the position where you want her to be. She got up, I put her back into that sit position. I'm not going to let her get up until I say H-E-E-L, right? So she should stay in that position. Right now she's not even focusing on me, right? She's looking all over the place. So there's no way she's going to start following me all of a sudden, right? She's not going to just be like, oh, look, I'm going to follow whatever she's doing. No, she wants to do whatever she wants to do right now. So our goal is to get her to focus on you. So before you even start moving, I'm going to go, Pixie. Good girl. She got up. Put her back. Right? So I'm going to do it using treats right now. because she's so fixated on wanting to do what she wants. Now she remembers that I have a treat, and she's a little more easily looking at me now. I didn't give it to her because she didn't really do anything to deserve it. All right, she almost got up there, so I reinforced the sit. Okay, Pixie, come. Good girl. Heel. Right, so now I'm going to turn. Right, I'm not going to pull her. Pixie. I'm going to pop her to say, pay attention. Pixie. She's way too far away right there, right? I let her go all the way over there, then that's not going to work out. So the way you hold your leash is really important. If she gets all the way over there, then you're going to have to get her back here and start from this first position again, which is square one, getting her in this calm state of mind and getting her to refocus on you again. Pixie, good girl. Pixie, heel. Right? So holding it here where it's nice and loose, but as soon as she tries to get ahead of me, I'm able to reinforce that she's not allowed to leave this invisible box that goes right next to me. Right there, it went on. She went out of it, right? So I was able to give her just a little bit of a pop. That's what the pop should be used for, to be like, just remember, you're not allowed to start picking up pace and leaving. If she's already left the box, you need to do a red light. This is a yellow light. This is a green light, what we're doing right now. That's a yellow light, and this is a red light. And also notice with the red light, I never say SIT, right? We're not telling her to do a sit-stay right now. We're simply asking her to calm down and pay attention. That's the whole point. Yeah? So I also didn't go in a straight line when I started healing there, right? I started by turning. Right now, I'm going to turn. So you always have stop, which is your red light, pop, your yellow light, and change directions. Changing directions a lot and changing your pace is going to be really important, because if you just go in the same pace, straight line all the time, there's no reason she's going to want to focus on you. That's boring. Look, we just went in a straight line for only 2 houses, and she's already lost focus on me, right? But if I start doing this, look, she kind of got bumped into right there because she wasn't paying attention, and I turned, right? If she's not paying attention when I turn, what's going to happen? She's either going to get bumped into, or she's not going to realize, and she's going to get a pop, right? So that's why left turns are so good, because she kind of gets forced to pay attention. Right hand turns are good because it helps you work on your handling skills to learn to tell her, pay attention, using the leash. Pay attention. Pay attention. Right? I don't need to verbally say that. I can just use the leash. Right? So now I'm going to turn again. She's starting to lose focus on me. Do zigzag patterns, right? She's not going to be expecting it. Make her focus. So now, Pixie, now not only is she getting physical exercise, but she's getting mental exercise, because she's being forced to pay attention and focus and turn and do all these pace changes and direction changes. There's all sorts of stuff going on, right? So she's really going to be tired when she gets in from this walk, rather than just taking her for a stroll and her pulling you all over the place and sniffing. That's useless energy. She's just burning, right? Okay, heel. This is much more valuable. She might not seem like she's burning as much, but she's burning doubly now. Pixie. Right? So the whole goal is to get her to focus on you. She's been with me for just about a week now. A week yesterday. Yeah, she's been with me. So we have 2 more weeks that we're going to continue to work on all this kind of stuff, and get her to really focus. You can see she's already doing better, but she still has some more work to do. And that's what we're here for, to do all these repetitions with her and really get her to understand it. And then we'll help you, of course, when you come home, when she comes home, and we'll help you to become that confident and consistent handler for your dog, so that you can, continue their education at home and see success with their training. So if you have any questions, let me know. If anybody else has any questions about their dog, give us a call today. We'd be happy to help you, like we are with the sweet little Miss Pixie. Have a good one, everyone.